Hello, viewers. I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal. Stands before you with a very important topic which is very much useful for plus 2, plus 3 post graduation students as well as students those who are preparing for competitive examination, that is Union Council of Ministers. Today's topic is categories and functions of the Union Council of Ministers. I have full confidence that this video will be very much relevant to students of all levels, maybe of plus 2, plus 3 and post graduation level. Let us start about categories and functions of the Union Council of Ministers. In the process of Indian administration, Council of Ministers are very much important. If Council of Ministers will not be found, a government will be crippled and administration will be paralyzed. So, Council of Ministers play a very important role in the process of administration. They are described as the life veins of administration. Due to this reason, a Council of Ministers is observed in the union level under Article 74 Clause 1, and a Council of Ministers is found in the state level. But today's discussion is about categories and functions of the Union Council of Ministers. The first Union Council of Ministers was formed after independence. It was a 15-member Council of Ministers constituted by Prime Minister Nehru and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, acted as Deputy Prime Minister. So the Council of Ministers, which is operating in the union level, is known as Union Council of Ministers. So about Union Council of Ministers, Article 74 Clause 1 says, there shall be a Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister at the head to aid and advise the President. And the President is expected to accept the advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. So, the Council of Ministers is an advisory body under the leadership of Prime Minister to the President in the Union. Now, we'll discuss what are the categories of Council of Ministers. In the Council of Ministers, there are three categories of ministers are found. One category is the Cabinet Minister, second category is the Minister of State, and third category is the Deputy Minister. The first category of the Council of Ministers is the Cabinet Ministers. Cabinet Ministers are the topmost category of ministers. They are given charge of an individual department, and by taking all the cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister, the cabinet is formed. So, by taking all the cabinet ministers and the Prime Minister, the cabinet is formed. So, whenever any problem for the country will come, At the time, the Prime Minister convenes the cabinet meeting, and in the cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister will sit, cabinet ministers will sit, and the cabinet secretary will also sit. But the cabinet secretary will not say anything, he will only write down the proceedings of the cabinet. So, all the important problems of the country is discussed in the cabinet meeting on the leadership of Prime Minister, and decision is arrived. And in the cabinet, what will be the final decision? It is the Prime Minister who will decide. So, the first category of the Council of Ministers is the cabinet ministers. Cabinet ministers are the powerful ministers. They are given independent charge in the ministry. They are these cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister, form the cabinet, and all the problems of the country are discussed in the cabinet. And the second category of minister is the Minister of State. These ministers of state are not so much powerful in a department where works are heavy. In a department where overburden of work is found, in that department, Minister of State is found. And the ministers of state are not included in the cabinet. Whenever there will be a cabinet meeting, these ministers of state will not be invited, but they are placed in those departments where work is heavy, and their function is to assist cabinet ministers. The third category of minister is the deputy minister. Deputy ministers are not much powerful. They are even less powerful than the Minister of State. And deputy ministers are found in those departments where there is pressure of work is more. The function of the deputy ministers is to assist Minister of State and cabinet ministers in their work. So, Council of Ministers consists of three categories of ministers. Number one is the cabinet ministers, number two is the Minister of State, and number three is the deputy ministers. So, we have discussed how Council of Ministers is constituted, how it is formed. Now we'll discuss another part of the Council of Ministers, that is the functions of the Council of Ministers. What functions they have? The first function of the Council of Ministers is the function of policy formulation. The first function of the Union Council of Ministers is to formulate policy of the country, which is internal, which is external. Whenever the internal policy of the country will be formed, and whenever the foreign policy of the country will be formed, at the time, Council of Ministers play an important role. And whenever the discussion will be made about the policy formulation of the country, ministers of the council will be given chance to express their view. Because if the policy of the government will be better, there will be name of the government. If policy of the government will not be better, the government will be blamed. So, the first function of the Council of Ministers is to participate in the policy formulation work of the country. And number two, control over permanent executives or civil servants. Members of the Council of Ministers are given charge of different departments. Each minister is engaged in different department. Each minister is engaged in a particular department. So all the ministers are given charges of respective departments. And under all departments there are permanent executive or civil servants. So it is the function of members of Council of Ministers to watch the working of civil servants. Because once the government will prepare the policy, it is the function of the members of Council of Ministers to see how this policy will be implemented. and implementation of policy is the task of civil servants. So it is the function of ministers to supervise the work of civil servants. They will advise them, they will give direction to them how policy will have to be implemented. Because if civil servants will not implement the policy, then there will be no value of the formulation of policy. So it is the function of Council of Ministers to supervise the work of civil servants. And number 3, another function of the Council of Ministers is to supervisory function. In every department, secretaries are found, assistant secretaries are found, and sections officers are found. In each department, civil servants are found. And the function of civil servant is to execute the policy. So, it is the function of Council of Ministers to supervise the work of these civil servants. How they are implementing policy, how they are not implementing policy, whether there is rate tapeism or not. So it is the function of Council of Ministers to supervise the work of civil servants. Because if works of civil servants will not be supervised, then policy cannot be implemented in a better way. Then the 4th important function of civil servant is function of lawmaking. As time is changing, new type of laws will have to be made, old laws will have to be abolished. So it is the function of Council of Ministers to see and judge what new laws will have to be prepared and what old laws will have to be abolished. So this is another important function of the Council of Ministers. The 5th, which is very important function of the Council of Ministers, is the control over finance. Because whenever for a country budget will be prepared, at the time of preparation of budget, Council of Ministers play an important role. They give their views, they share their views at the time of preparation of budget. Again, when new type of taxes will have to be introduced, when new type of taxes will be introduced, what type of old taxes will have to be abolished, it is decided by the Council of Ministers. So they play a very important role in the field of finance. Finally, another important function of the Council of Ministers is control over foreign policy of the country. Every country has its foreign policy. Every country decides with which country it will have good relationship. It will decide with which country it will not have a relationship. So every country has its foreign policy. So whenever the foreign policy of a country will be prepared, at the time of preparation of the foreign policy or during the process of preparation of foreign policy, Council of Ministers play an active role. So, in this video we have discussed that when the first Council of Ministers was formed after independence, it was a 15-member Council of Ministers was formed by then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and at the time in the Council of Ministers, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the Deputy Prime Minister. And we have discussed what are the categories of Council of Ministers. In the Council of Ministers, there are 3 categories of ministers, like Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of State, and Deputy Ministers. Then we have discussed in this video 6 important vital functions of Council of Ministers. Number 1, function of policy formulation. Council of Ministers play a very important role in the preparation of policy of the country. Number 2, control over permanent executives. This Council of Ministers control civil servants, otherwise policy cannot be implemented. Number 3, supervisory role. This Council of Ministers supervise the work of civil servants, how they are working, how they are implementing or not. And 4th, function of lawmaking, when new law will have to be made and when old laws will have to be abolished. At the time, the Council of Ministers also play an important role. 5th, control of finance, when the budget will be prepared for the country and when new taxes will have to be introduced, when old taxes will have to be abolished. At the time also members of Council of Ministers play a very decisive role. Finally, they play an important role in the preparation of foreign policy of the country. When foreign policy of the country will be prepared, at the time of preparation of foreign policy, Council of Ministers play a very crucial and vital role. So, I request my viewers to watch this video carefully and collect important facts relating to Union Council of Ministers. I'll be happy if this video will be helpful to students. I request my students to take best use of this video and informations placed in this video. Thank you, my viewers. I request you to subscribe my channel and give your views through my channel about this video. Goodbye to all. Again we will be here with another video. Till now, goodbye to all.